All right, so going on to the bare basics, you can go straight into this as a practice mode. So by not having any developer or time trial go selected, you can just go straight into the level. Yeah, it's a few things to cover rather than just diving into it. So what I'd actually suggest is for complete beginners to Crash Team Racing is to start off with the adventure mode. You can progress through easy, medium, and hard difficulties. So that's a huge recommendation. Obviously, you can play with your friends. Next to you on the sofa is always best. You can try and find matches online, or you can just also look at other people's videos. A number of people have covered Crash Team Racing Nitro Food over the years, and some standout ones to me are the Viperian, who does some really good tutorials on being the developers. There's also one Lewis or Protosaurus Rex, who's beat the developers as well. And yeah, there's like they all have their own merit, and like I feel like the more the merrier, basically. So yeah, my suggestion is to start off with the single player mode and or your with your friends next to you. Yeah, you've got you can choose individual tracks. You can go for cups, which gives you practice over lots of different types at once. Battle is just an extra fun mode, really. It doesn't really assist much, but in a way it kind of will, because if you're like hopping to dodge, or trying to like skirt around a corner so the missile hits a wall from an enemy, that sort of technique is useful when you're trying to dodge corners in the time trials. Ring rally is more about positioning on the track, and it is definitely beneficial. Relic races is similar to the other like races, where you just collect these time relics, and there's dedicated time frames that are placed in different positions on the track, so it'll help you find your line, so to speak, when you talk about actual race car driving. These you have to collect the 3 separate letters within 3 separate areas, and the crystal challenges you just have to grab 20 or so crystals in the fastest time. Again, these are all sort of designed, these 4 modes, to assist with positioning of your car, and also where you are on the map, and just the overall feel. Because at the end of the day, Crash Team Racing does feel a lot different to Mario Kart, which anybody can pick up as an obvious kart race to choose. It takes a little while, but the very first thing to mention is driving styles. So you can switch the engine types. There's a symbol up on the top left that represents that, and then also obviously where you select over on the bottom right. The classic is kind of like the balanced engines, where like it's just if you love Mario Kart, that's like where you should start off. Turn I've always found really weird. You can turn, obviously, like the name suggests, really on quite very sharp, exaggerated movements, but I just don't feel like there's a benefit to start off with that. Oh yeah, sorry, there's balance too. And if you press X here, under because it represents top left, you can actually see the stats. So between balanced and classic, classic's got 3, 4, and then 7 points, whereas balance is all set to 5. So yeah, with classic you just lose speed, but you've got a bit more turn. Turn is just turn is full, but yeah, the where it's got turn and then classic and then the stats are the same. It's because classic, I believe, is linked, because in the original game, or when this came out, sorry, each character was linked to a specific style. So I believe that Ripperoo was probably turn. Yeah, so then the next ones are acceleration, speed, and drift. Acceleration speaks for itself. All the stat points are in that middle bar or column in the acceleration. Speed, they're all in speed. And then drift, you just get an extra bit of turn. So in terms of the developer times eventually, um, which is probably like your main goal, everyone, pretty much everybody, there's a few exceptions to people that can that do really well with turn and really well with acceleration, but nearly like 95% of people will either use speed or drift. Um, in terms of the actual getting down to the final hardest like developer times and stuff, there are like a few like the probably the ones that you'll have remaining where you can beat them with drift. So you can kind of do the majority of the developer times with drift, but you will need to master speed really to beat a particular couple of tracks. But speed basically feels like you're just flying dead ahead. So when you let go of the gas, or you just sort of there's a lot of like forward trajectory, so you just keep moving with a lot of power. Whereas drift, there's a lot more chances to correct for error. So yeah, if you're brand new to all of this, and where I've kind of stuck a lot of my playtime with Crash Team Racing is in the drift class. So that's my recommendation. If you start with drift, master drift, and get stick with it, then you'll be a pro much faster than any other sort of avenue. And then speed, you'll have to pick up at some point. So you can explore these two predominantly, but definitely explore them all. Maybe you can beat some of the developer times with even the turn class or something. The next thing to note is you've obviously got different characters and different carts, and you can randomize the carts. There's 56 characters, which you can break down into like the original game, Nitro Kart, the bonus or the new added 30 characters by Phoenix, or all of them, so 56 in total. Each of our characters have heaps of different skins that you can unlock either with pre-order stuff and whatever bonus things, or through like other friends' save files. Obviously, if you're playing around a friend's house, and then the one most of the majority are locked through the pit stop. But none of these skins or the customizable features on the cart really add any benefit to your performance. So it's quite balanced in that respect. But yeah, my advice is like some characters, obviously Papu, you'll see the cart change shape a little bit because he's a bigger character model. So Dewey may feel a bit bigger, whereas Komodo is skinnier, and then Penta, the penguin, is smaller. In the original CTR, Penta was so small that people used to select this character just to have like a 1% benefit of being able to see more of the track, which will help you beat some of the times. The way I have tended to play this, that could be the set for King Chicken. He's got the smallest space on the screen, but if not, the Q checkpoint correct. Probably the checkpoint correct. So yeah, the way I've approached this is I've played this obviously a lot. There's only one other game I've played more than this video game in my life, and that was Time Splitters 2 on PlayStation 2 with my brother. Otherwise, CTR was I think I've played CTR even more than Time Splitters 2, and Time Splitters 2, my brother and I racked up 56 weeks worth of gameplay because it records it in the game. And then we lost that save file, did it again 100%, and then racked up another 15 or 17 weeks. But I still believe we played CTR more, even the battle mode and everything as kids. But yeah, anyway, My favorite character is Ripperoo. The crazy blue kangaroo in the straitjacket that drives with his feet. There's different morphs of him, color variations, and then there's like custom skins. Mad scientist, gentleman. Yeah, so I personally nearly always play as Ripperoo because, for one, maybe not initially, but like I feel like by playing as your favorite character, it actually gives you a little tiniest bit of like morale boosting or whatever you want to call it. Same with the carts. So there's a huge range of carts, 42 styles from a basic and the original cart, and across to nitro fueled variations. Um, Not nitro fueled variations, nitro kart variations. So yeah, there are pretty much those across the top there. It's got the exclamation marks. Each time I come in, it thinks I haven't like viewed them or unlocked them, but I've viewed and unlocked everything in the game because I played this obviously originally crazily when it came out, and the different seasons were getting released month to month, different passes. So the major type that's different are the like hovercrafts, the floating ones without wheels, and they do feel different, really different to me. Yeah, with 42 like carts, some of them being like longer and with like more stuff going on. It can like feel quite overwhelming. So basically, the key here is at the end of the day, practice and just take time to like find what works for you. Maybe this car, the Daredevil, is the one that makes you feel like the fastest racer in the world. That is literally what it comes down to. Even like how the kart feels. So there's another hover one, but a long one. It's the Beanox logo or the cog. So yeah, me personally, it's either the classic kart because it's what I've like pretty much what I only played with growing up as a kid, or the other ones I sort of ended up getting experience with is the champion kart and more racy sort of sports ones. So yeah, anyway, for the sake of this video, because there's a lot to take in, I'll just stick to the classic kart, and then yeah, there's different like decals for them as well, but I'd just go with none, and then you can change the wheels. None of this matters, but some of them have added effects, basically like flames or whatever, and colors flying out of them, and that can be like distracting. And so, because we're talking about the developer times here, I'm just going to stick with basic ones so they're not distracting. Um, and then you can change the paint, and obviously same thing. Some of them are flashy, some of them are more simple. And then you can add a sticker for not really much reason. Yeah, so there's 227 stickers. I'm from Australia, so I'm just going to like find one that's not New Zealand, which is Australia. I don't have any of the super bonus special cards unlocked on this account on my Nintendo Switch because I never got a chance living in Australia to get most of the promotional stuff to unlock them, and they weren't really super duper interesting anyway, in my opinion. So anyway, selects drift, selects my basic part, and my favorite character, which is basically how most people would sort of start this game. And I hope that I remember to deselect the ghost. So like I said, it's been a long time since I've even played this. It was definitely at least 9 months ago. And I just pretty much So one thing I just missed is you can do a boost off the styling line, of course, like most races. So you pretty much just hold the gas, which is where we're going to start the intro for this this course, I guess. I'm trying to figure out a name, but you know, I'm going to stick to calling it course. So the very first thing you're going to want to do in CTR is figure out what the buttons do. So left trigger changes the camera. Obviously, that gives you a little bit more of a view. So if you get used to it zoomed out, some people don't like it that way, but it gives you a little bit more of an advantage in a way because the camera tilts down by about 10 or 20 degrees. Obviously, B or PlayStation controls X is gas, square or Y on the Nintendo Switch is brake, but you don't really need brake too much until you start mastering U-turns, which I'm sort of doing now. Yeah, the very first thing really is to like just get the feel for how this moves. So, and then you can quit even figure out like how different engines feel. So I'm just purposely um, moving the cart around in different ways. You gotta like take in like the scenery, and at the end of the day, you gotta like look at a multitude of different things. You gotta like learn about the environment, learn what grass does and the effect on the wheels, learn about edges, learn about how much air you get just from holding down the gas. Um, you need to like keep an eye on the mini map. You need to like be ready for being surprised by things like that. Um, yeah, so one thing to do is get used to the gas. So that's my recommendation. Really, is honestly just you playing adventure mode, hold down gas, playing on easy, and see how you get on beating some of the computers, the CPU players in adventure or story mode. Um, I'm also gonna have to watch on the laps because I don't want to beat all 3 laps on this attempt just without sticking to demonstration. So I use lap 3 as the more of the demo one. So yeah, so there's a few different elements to pick up. Most of them are similar to other racing games that you would have played, like maybe you've grown up with Gran Turismo or Burnout or or Mario Kart on various consoles. So yeah, but getting back to the like basics. So yeah, just remember that the cart doesn't really have much of an effect. It's just the engine, and also the player or the character doesn't have much of an effect. So Ripperoo in there is just here for fun. Yeah, so we've covered gas and brake. There's a few things to like advance things to talk about later down the line. Circle or A on the right is the horn, which like does nothing, and I've just accidentally hit it in the past when I'm like flicking my fingers around the controller. Triangle or X at the top changes the minimap and HUD settings. So it just switches between like original like layouts and more like custom layouts. But yeah, what you will notice is like the speed gauge doesn't really change except for this one. There's not much to say other than it feels like the carts kind of have gears, and then this one is drift, so it doesn't get to max speed, so it doesn't get to the top of the 6 gauges on that little screen bottom right. But even that's weird because when you look at uh, the cart settings that I showed you in choose the engine thing, there's 7 bars, but then in the game there's only 6, so that's weird. Once you've like got used to like basic turning and basics of the gas, the next thing is what I'm doing a lot of, which is hopping. And the hop is top shoulder button on the Nintendo Switch is R. So obviously you can hop on the spot, and you can get a feel of like how far you can hop with one hop, which I know like all sounds really basic, but this is what like will help you get to that stage of beating any of the time trials up to the developer times. So with drift, at least, you can do like teeny tiny hops if you press it real quickly, which is actually how you get a TNT off your head. Down is reverse, which may take you a while to figure out. You can do stuff like reverse and hop. You can go forward and hop, obviously. You can brake and hop. So I'm holding gas, but then so hold X, and then like hop, and then brake, and it's about aiming for direction. So you see that like stream of water up there coming off the rocks. If you're coming this way and then you hopped and press the brake, you would aim more towards that. So that's what you want to do too, is like look out for landmarks like that rock coming up, and then you know you can either go to the right where the arrow was or to the left through the little gap. What else to say about hopping? Obviously, if you hop once, do like a sort of a big press on the control if you can hear that, and hold like mash left or hold left as much as you can, or hold right. You can sort of move like, so that's 4 to move like 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, it's 4. There's actually 16 hops to go around in a full circle on drift, but I don't know if that's the case with the other engine types or whatever, because I've not really looked into that before. Maybe turns a little bit less. But yeah, hopping is a huge mechanic of this game, because after a while, you realize that if you hop off a ledge, your character kind of reacts a little bit. You can also come up to grass and then hop grass, and then you only had like 2 little splutters of grass fronds coming up on the screen, but if you just drive for it, it's just a consistent spray of grass. So you sort of get the feeling and work out that you're slowing down. Yeah, so with this track, it sort of obviously makes sense to try cut this corner, which we'll get a lot more into, but cutting the corner fine about here is where you want to aim for. To get you the better angle, so then you're aiming towards that bridge. So to go back and do that in one motion, you're coming through and you can slam left hop, and then you see with drift, it's just you get so much turn around that corner, whereas with speed, you'll definitely feel you weren't getting that as much. So yeah, maybe you need just like 2 hops, so you go 1, 2, and then maybe that's too much. You can see me sort of moving my joystick right and left like this, being really flowing with it, because that's how you sort of need to be to react to other races, and also to get the tightest turns on developer times. So this is the next thing I want to talk about. Is you just notice the kart change is that obviously, like many kart races, if you jump at the peak of jump, you get a little boost. To show you that fully, you can do it quite close. Big jump, hold for like 2 seconds or whatever it is. Again, water spraying and slowing it down. So it's another thing to pick up from this level. Obviously, when you go off the jump, you can turn. And if you're lucky, so tops the jumps, and you can aim which way you're going with that boost. It can like send you into a wall, which is like that animation, and then obviously it's reversed becomes pretty useless because you end up just hopping like that, and then you can just go straight. Reversing, just the cart has to be come to a full stop, and then you can reverse, so it's slower. So hop is the way to go, and then something else is going out of bounds and getting picked up by a reset on the track. Learning where the out of bounds is. Which, yeah, all of this may seem like really trivial, but it's such basic stuff that will really help you to get the most enjoyment out of CTR, because it's such an incredible kart racing game. Like, I'd say it's the best in the world. So yeah, let's talk about other types of jumps. Like, you see me do a big jump at the top here, and you can tell that right at the top because Ripperoo, he does a bit of a stance or pose where he stands on the steering wheel with one leg. But what you can also do is what I just called myself a short jump, where you like hop right here at the bottom of the ramp, and then basically cut. You go over that as like a curve, so you don't have that time it takes to like launch up off the ramp and then land. You actually you make up some time by just grazing over the top of the ramp, and that becomes super useful later on, because when you've got heaps of speed and you don't need that boost off the ramp, you can just short jump it like that. Although I just caught the top of the ramp, so it wasn't sort of perfect. So it's about learning like the exact distance to be able to do that. What else? So the other type of boost you can get, you can see that little flame coming out the back. So the smoke that's coming out the back of the kart now is kind of like level 1 of speed, and obviously if you hold it down, it doesn't really change, it just kind of intensifies the animation. Yeah, that jump off the ledge off the ramp was kind of level 1 or level 2. Then level 3 is what one of the main mechanics of the game is. So if you jump but then hold the shoulder button, you can perform a drift, which you may feel like, oh, it's taken 10 minutes or more to get to the point about drifting. You can hold it for a long time, especially with the drift engine. Yeah, all the karts can drift, and you can see me adjusting the angles, and if you hold it too long, it'll actually spin out. The tire marks on this like clear sandy level show you that, so you can adjust sort of 3 or 4 times, sort of on the inside edge, like towards the scenery. So yeah, you can. Yeah, so let's talk about what happens when you drift. When you drift, there's a bar at the bottom right-hand corner that just filled up from green to flaming orange, and then it said fail. So what does it mean by fail? You missed an opportunity to boost. So um, the next step beyond just like holding down the gas and getting used to corners is drifting around corners. So you can like drift and let go, drift. You can even drift like start to chain drift, like by drifting like left and right. Again, it's nice on these open world levels, open world maps, because you can get a feel for it. But yeah, basically there's like a hidden mechanic system in the game called reserves that you don't see, but it's represented slightly on the bottom right hand corner of the screen by the words fail, and then that little vertical bar thing, which obviously goes up whenever you hop. And then if you see now, it's barely at that sort of first black mark when you jump, but when you jump off here, it goes over the black marks, which gives you that orange boost. So yeah, that orange boost at the back we're calling level 1. You can also look behind you, as well as the left trigger changing the camera view, which becomes irritating on the trials, because if you start a trial and then fail and hit retry, you have to press the button again to make it your preferred view. So keep that in mind. It might be worth just sticking to this sort of closer up camera. But some people do just, and I tried it at some stage, flicked from this to this at the start of every single attempt to try and beat particular time trials. When you start getting a little bit better with this kind of drift mechanic, you can tap the other shoulder button, because that you get one boost. If you look at the exhaust, you get the flash of orange and black smoke, which tells you you can press the left trigger and get that little boost that I just got then. So right and then left, right, left. And combine it with like some braking, and you still end up with extra speed. We're just going to go to and from over this bridge for now, just because it's giving a nice demonstration of what you can do. So when you drift, you'll see that bar go up, and then if I press the left trigger quickly, it says the word good, and it said times 1. Good boosts are a good place to start, as in like you shouldn't like look at the bottom corner, but it will go up from 1, 2, 3 when you're like above the first black line, and you get, if you get 3 boosts, you get an extra boost, and the maximum is 3, and that's what lifts the car off the ground. So that's a basic thing that I think everyone needs to learn to do any of the time trials. Almost died then. Beyond the word good, there's another black line that's for the perfect boost. So there's just pretty much good and perfect, and then it's kind of like very picky, but within that range bottom right, there's a tiny section at the end. And I personally feel that if you're just getting a boost on the line, it's okay, perfect boost. But if you're to the right of that grid, the perfect boost is even more perfect, and it just adds to the reserves in the background. It's also about the shape of the level, obviously. So you go 2 this way, and then 3 that way, and then another 3 that way, because we're turning to the left. But after a while, it's like a timing thing. So I'd sort of used to say in my head, like, and go, like, I don't know, something like, and go, 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 and it would lead you to get more perfect boosts. And then if you keep this orange, bigger orange flame, it will keep you drifting for longer, basically. So what I'm trying to say is do a big boost, big boost, big boost, big boost. It's always hard to teach someone something when you're not focusing. So I just try to get a few perfects, and I'm just going to hold the gas. You see how long that lasted for? So that was just from the gas itself. These turbo pads also give you a boost, the same, but the front of the cart slammed down almost immediately just by holding more gas. If you come up to the boost pad and drift into it, it does the same thing pretty much. But don't mind that one, I won't. If you sort of get a couple of boosts, see how it like held a lot more and the cart stayed up in the air. So at the end of the day, if your front wheel is off the ground and you're doing a maximum boost, that's the best you can get organically. So when I got to this stage as like a kid with the original CTR, I was just playing like this, trying to get like perfect boosts, pretty much as for years, for like absolutely years, playing with my 2 brothers, their friends, my friends. It was like one. Yes, I sold my PlayStation 1 with 198 games to trade in. And I remember thinking that, like, wow, that's just the ones that I had left. I had like so many more than that. But yeah, CTR was one that I didn't trade in, and was one that, it became closest to my heart. Just the feel of it, the sounds, the music, the environment. There's like this the sun flares. There's a ship over there. There's fish jumping out the water. There's these like little birds coming over. There's the water movement, the way the water's reacting, and the way grass reacts. Like there's quite a lot of like added detail that wasn't here in the original. Yeah, the game itself has internal hints too, and the story mode adventure will take you along that. Something else to mention about speed is if you have 10 Wumpa fruit, you become sort of fully juiced up as well as the weapons. So you learning also like what all the weapons do as well, and trying to catch up with your friends or computers once you've been hit is another way to pick up some skills. So you get all this information through the adventure mode. And I'm just going to actually hit restart, which is a very familiar thing to people doing time trials. I'm just going to do like a more simple lap. So I hold. So yeah, I'm not happy with that start. Yeah, because I managed to get a boost off the line just like naturally. I didn't even. That's kind of like just in autopilot then. I managed to jump off that little grassy sand ledge and get a boost off the ground as well. So you can get one here off the start line like this, and then jump off there, and you get high enough, and then your wheels come up because you got one off there, and one off there. So I'm not taking like the very best line possible for this track. But yeah, like you can literally spend hours just trying to get like as close to this wall as possible, so your nose is pretty much like touching it, or like most of the objects. So yeah, I'm just gonna like show off like how many boosts I'm sort of doing, and like obviously yeah, it helps you reach areas like that, secrets, um, which can gives you huge advantages in like particular tracks. Just have fun with the game. You can like do crazy stuff, really. Yeah, like it might feel like clunky at first, but really when you get like the perfect timing drift boost that's down, and considering I haven't done this in like 9 months, I'm like doing reasonably okay. Yeah, in some cases just one little boost is enough. Others you have to get like 3 in a row. Otherwise you need like not just the 3 in a row, but another sort of set of 3, or another set of 5. That can make 8 in the background if like you're looking at the bottom right numbers. Yeah, you just got to keep at it. Test out those different engines, and yeah, this drift boosting mechanic is where we're going to leave this video, or class, sorry. So yeah, like you can refer to it basically how you want, but like way fans and stuff have been referring to it, sort of chaining your boosters together. You can also change the number of laps if you really want to practice this properly. You can change it to like up to 5 laps or 7 laps or whatever it is. The double pop there because I wanted to escape water. So yeah, that going back to the HUDs, this one actually gives you like a height as a number. So if you jump up here, like 73 whatevers. Whereas if you jump like lower down, 53 whatevers. If you jump off the ground, 36. So yeah, the ground is like you can hop about 30 whatever those are off the ground. And I'm just testing like even if you do little ones or one big one. Yeah, even if you do like lots of little ones or one seemingly big one, it's technically the same. But in your head, it feels like if you smash the button down, you'll do a big jump. But that kind of works in your favor as well. It's really about timing too. Um, yeah, I will share all my developer times, and maybe I'll even go through some of the like entropy and whatever times just to give you some tips, because yeah, there's a lot to take in. Yeah, for now I'm just gonna restart and I'll do one proper um, race. He says, "Don't like this menu." Right, now I'll do one. You can get a perfect one at the start, but no one ever really does that. Wow, sorry, it's pretty terrible. Sorry. So now I'm deaf staring at the corners. I'm not looking at the car. I'm not looking at the bottom right. I'm literally like staring like where Rue's nose would be, if not in front of his nose on the left, to like really line up where I want to go next. Doesn't matter if this is like the best run ever or not right now. Skip that grass, but yeah, if you stare like a little bit too much, you hit the wall like that. But otherwise, I'm trying to stare for the sake of demonstrating a rough lap of Crash Cove, the first level, where to look, because that's pretty huge. No one really talks about exactly where you should look. They just kind of say, "Oh, here's me playing Nitro Fuel, and this is how you do it, jump here, etc." Yeah, I'm like staring at the things that I'm most likely going to hit, and or if not, what's going to give me the fastest line. So yeah, Crash Cove laps, like if you have what could be considered sort of between good and great laps, they're around 30 seconds each. There's all like my previous attempts, but I haven't spent ages um, doing lots of practice, like using the time trials like a practice mode. I just pretty much played the adventure, played online, bought everything in the store pretty quickly. Another reason I bought it on the Nintendo Switch, because I figured less people will be playing, so there's a big chance for me to win and buy stuff sooner, because I love this game. I'm 35, so I don't have a lot of. I don't have all the time that I want to dedicate to it. So yeah, keeping the last thing I'm just going to say is considering that each lap was about 30 seconds just then. I just wanted to compare that to the ghosts. So my time just then quickly was 1 minute 30. Um, so entropy is 134. So obviously I would have beat him had I selected that ghost. Oxide though is oxide is 127. So even on that last attempt there, where I was just trying to show an average sort of lap, I'd have to knock off like 2.5 seconds. But obviously he's there next to you, which is either I find really off-putting to have this like see-through ghost like right up you, behind you, every single like part of the yeah, it just adds pressure, I feel. It'd be good if you could like select the ghost but not actually have the ghost there in a way. Then yeah, it's not. If you feel like you've given it your all and you've got like your fastest time ever, you may in fact be like velo. But you have to do one by yourself, a good enough time like I just did, and then it would have probably said you've unlocked trophy, and then select him and then beat him, and then you'll get a message to say Oxide's available, and then you can beat him. But yeah, I'd have to shave off 3 seconds, and then another like 4 seconds for Emperor Velo, which are new times added by Beanox, and then another 4 seconds for William P. So there's 4, 8, 12, you know, like a whole 10, 11 seconds I need to shave off from my 130 to get the 119. You can also, as I've just shown, select multiple ghosts and have all these ghosts going with you at the same time. Yeah, that's going to be it. You can also play the map in sort of reverse mirror mode, but it's pretty much a waste of time in terms of like, it just detracts from like your training, if you want to call it that. So yeah, that's yeah, that's going to be all for this video. Yeah, there's different gameplay options. Obviously, if you want to change some music and stuff, you can change the preferred boost bar, which is probably what I should have done all along. Skip the intros. So that's something I forgot to mention too, is that the actual tires and the wheels, as well as the smoke, show show like when you should press the trigger for the perfect boost. So if the smoke doesn't work for you, or the timing doesn't work for you, maybe the tires, looking at the tires, can work for you. It's like a little laser that comes together, and then when it's on the middle of the tire, you probably didn't notice that's when you're meant to boost. You can obviously remap controls, but that's a bit of an advanced technique. And yeah, there's a couple of like extra things they've thrown in there too, some music and things. But yeah, the main focus is like the options really, and the audio. Yeah, that's going to be it. From Crash Bandicoot Australia Down Under. Yeah, keep it down under. Keep any advice and comments coming. But yeah, even if this helps one person, I feel like me doing this has been worthwhile. So in the next one, we'll get onto like more advanced techniques and building up like what you need on the road to beating entropy. But yeah, thank you for watching.